This is Tony Hendrick, the Painting Spirit, and today's subject is going to be discover. And the reason I'm choosing this is because I had so much fun yesterday exploring flavors with my painting that I just wanted to play around a little bit more. And maybe approach it from a little bit of a different place with the word discover in mind. And so I looked up the definition of discover just for fun. And it says find something or someone unexpectedly or in the course of a search. And then it lists 4 different kinds of that description. And the first one is the one that I want to talk about, which is become aware of. And the others are like be the first to find or observe something and perceive the attractions of an activity or subject for the first time. Be the first to recognize the potential of an artist. Well, that one, that could apply. Because what I want to point at or look into is becoming aware of what's going on inside, and that can include finding the potential of yourself inside. And let me get something happening with this painting here. Not sure exactly the direction I'm going to go, but I'm going to discover it as I go. So, what am I talking about when I talk about discover and become aware of? When I'm painting, I'm looking for stuff, becoming aware of it, things, and I'm finding stuff in the paint as I go along, like I'm doing right here. And I've said to you before that working this way on a small painting in a quick amount of time, the paint just simply is going to be wet. So what I'm doing here is getting rid of some of that wetness with my trusty spatula. And that reveals some things underneath that I can then respond to. And I like to use this thicker medium for this sort of thing. Right there, I dip my brush in a little bit of yellow and a lot of that thick medium. And playing around with opposites in color can be a way of discovering things in your painting. So I started out with a lot of that purplish color, and I brought in yellow, which is called a complementary color to yellow. I've talked about complementary colors before. Really, there's only 3 combinations of colors that you don't have to, but I like to keep in mind. And those are your complementary colors, which are green and red. So I just brought in some red there. So what happens when you combine these opposite colors or complementary colors? a vibration kind of happens. The eye kind of jumps back and forth between the two. So I've got this green going on here with this red. What happens when I play around with those two, mix them? I don't know, for some reason my paint just feels really wet this morning. I think I doused it a lot with water. It's something with acrylic paints that I have found to be helpful. Just to have a spray bottle. I use these open acrylics so they have a long dry time. And then having a spray bottle that I can mist my palette with. It's kind of like a Tupperware container that I use. And let's see here. What can we do? I get some different kind of brushwork going on here. Let's see what happens. So I got that intense yellow, and I want to play off the intensity of that yellow, bringing in some orange there. Just that little bit creates the highlight in that yellow. Maybe I'll continue on with that kind of thing. Bring in some drawing into the painting. Again, I've got lots of brushes in my hand right now. I think I'll bring in some black, really do some drawing with this painting. I'm just laying that black on top, because I know if I go really heavy with it, it'll just pick up that yellow and kind of get lost. So laying it on top like that allows the black to keep its intensity. Maybe I can lose the intensity a little bit by... Well, there's a discovery there. I like that little thing that just happened. Bringing in some white with that black. I want even more intense white going on here. I can do the same sort of thing with the white. Just lightly touch it on top. It keeps that intensity of the white pure, and then bring it into there. And you can even go back into that white with another layer on top, maybe even smaller. Creates a different effect. Maybe bring in some black on top of there. All this layering starts to develop space in your painting. So this is kind of turning into... I wonder what would happen if I start mixing. Now that I got all this color going on in here, what happens if I start to mix it all. Just in areas. Get that paint off of my trusty spatula. Just dragging it across, see what happens. And doing this is just a process of finding what's there and going back to that definition, becoming aware of. When you're painting this way, what I have found for myself is I start to become aware of a part of my mind that is just simply present to what's going on. And that's the true discovery that I am looking for when I'm doing these paintings. It's the discovery of being present, a discovery inside of myself, something I can bring to other aspects of my life to make my life come more alive. There's some really interesting colors happening there. Just from that blending, I really like that blue. I think I'm going to bring in even more blue, maybe some pure blue and white. That was intense there. I don't care for that intensity so much, so I think I'll tone it back. Deepen it. You don't really know until you get stuff on your painting what it's gonna do, what it's gonna cause the painting to do. But as you play and play, you discover more things that can happen with paint. And, well, that was my talk for today. So, get out your own brushes and see what you can discover. I discovered that Facebook changed their format again. So I was a little bit late, but tomorrow I guess I found out how to do it a different way. So I should be on time tomorrow. So I'll see you then at 7 o'clock.